Hey, what's going on everybody? Justin here, and in this video we're going to be talking about a few of my favorite cover designs from nonfiction titles that I own behind me. Now, for whatever reason on my feed and everything, a bunch of like kind of favorite covers and least favorite designs and everything was starting to show up. Now, after watching a few of them, I realized how underrepresented nonfiction is, because our covers definitely get blown away out of the water from a lot of the fantasy and sci-fi stuff, even like the classic fiction and everything kind of going on. So I decided, I gotta try to give nonfiction some love and some representation here, though I will concede that the overall battle, I think, has been lost to like fantasy. Especially they seem to have figured out how to get a really good kind of cover design for the most part anyways. But before we get started, in my next video or two, I'm hoping to announce a kind of a series that I want to start doing on the channel and stuff. I know I've always been talking about, I have 3 or 4 ideas, but I think we're going to start the first one. So leave a comment down below what you think this series might be. Like I said, hopefully within the week and stuff, that video will be on the channel and everything. Like I said, just leave a comment leaving what you think it might end up being, and let's just go ahead and get started with a bunch of honorable mentions. So first up, we got Birding Without Borders, an obsession, a quest, and the biggest year in the world by Noah Stricker. I just find the watercolor, like nature, I will say nature titles do a pretty good job. History, not quite as much. I think in general, nature titles do very good kind of getting to like the A tier, but not always like the S tier. Like it's really easy to make them like good. And like I said, I just love the simple watercolor design on these birds and everything. And I have like probably 5 books on birds that have like nice covers, but nothing I would say like would be my all-time favorite. Next up is a book and that one is a good read if you like birding. He broke the world record for the most species of birds seen in a year by a single person, which was then shattered like I think 2 years after he did it. But when you see over 5,000 species of bird in a year, that's pretty crazy. This is one of the ones I have not read out of this pile, and this is like one of the only cover buys I've really like ever done. It was in a used bookstore. It's in like pristine condition, and I don't know, I just felt like just the autumnal themes there. I don't know, it just reminds me of like my woods behind the house and stuff sometimes. Like we're getting into like October, November and stuff. Wildwood, A Journey Through Trees by Roger Deacon. I really should probably just get to it. He's been compared to Thoreau on the back of the blurb. So like I said, and that was by Robert McFarlane, who I do like. So we'll see how that one goes. Next up, one of the rules I kind of set for myself on the the video here was I could only include 1 slipcase for each category. So for my honorable mentions, and then like my actual like 5 or 6 favorite ones or whatever. So for an honorable mention, I'm gonna go with The Nature of Middle Earth by Tolkien. And this is a nice one of those HarperCollins like special editions and stuff. Just a really lovely, of course it's even like the nature one. I got a couple other ones as well, but this one's definitely my favorite. Just very understated, but I just think it's very elegant. I don't know, I just really enjoy it. I think the colors, purple like looks really good with kind of like that beige off-white cream color. I don't know, just really enjoyed that one. It's kind of a collection when Christopher was going through them, I think, of his father's letters and stuff. Anything that was kind of like random, like one of the things in here is like, how do elves age in Middle Earth and stuff, things like that. It's just kind of like the kind of, I guess, the world building sciencey kind of stuff for Middle Earth and everything. I found like stuff I've read in it so far pretty fun. Next up, we got a history book, one of the rare history books on here. We got The Extraordinary Voyage of Pythias of the Greek by Barry Cunliffe, and I just love this kind of mosaic late antique style kind of going on. For those who don't know who Pythias was, he was a Greek from the city of Massalia, which is where Marseille, France is today, and he kind of just went on like some voyages through northern Europe, possibly around like the British Isles, maybe to Iceland, that kind of thing, to Thule, in the kind of the ancient world and whatnot. But he kind of wrote about like his journey, his geography, kind of the astronomical stuff he was doing, as well as kind of like the ethnographic things of like the different like peoples he encountered and everything. Just really, really fun. I really enjoyed it, and like I said, that cover, that mosaic tile cover is very nice. And then for my last honorable mentions here, we've got some Osprey Publishing titles. Not necessarily these 2 in particular, but I just love how every single book they have in the series, they got hundreds in the Men-at-Arms, bazillion in the Elite, a bazillion in the Warriors, tons of different series So we're probably talking like 1,000 titles plus, easy. And they're all on different topics. Of course, I focus more like on the ancient and some medieval stuff, but they have like, you know, literally modern stuff into the 21st century. But each, all these plates that are in the books, usually the cover I think is the first one. All of them are specially commissioned for like each book. And they, you know, they're as historically accurate as they like possibly can be based on like the archaeological and textual like evidence that we've like uncovered and everything. I just find they're really cool, and I just really enjoy that kind of thing. All right, now before we go on to my, like, I think I got my top 7 favorite covers of my nonfiction stuff. Why don't you go ahead and subscribe, because I checked my stats here. Only about 15% of my viewers are subscribed, which means you guys are a very mercenary lot, but I suppose that's okay. And if you want to support the channel, definitely check out my Etsy shop where I sell things, different philosophy quotes, stuff like that. All kinds of things in that regard. And let's just go on to my absolute favorites. Alright, so we got 2 history books out of here in the top 7. These aren't going to be in a super particular order, except maybe number 1 here. But we got SPQR, History of Ancient Rome by Mary Beard. This is a super popular history of Rome. It's probably going to be like the de facto history that people recommend and stuff. I thought it was pretty mid, to be honest, though. Granted, I think I read it like maybe a year or 2 after it came out, quite a long time ago. But just, I love the simple, like, just gold leaf on the triumphal wreath, you know, triumphal reeds, triumphs, you know, I mean, I couldn't, like, not include it. I just love how, like, understated in a way it is, but just very elegant, very good. Alright, next up for the other history book, we have Thebes by Paul Cartledge, The Forgotten City of Ancient Greece. Just really love this one. This is an artistic representation of, I think, a vase between Oedipus and the Sphinx, for, you know, the kind of the Oedipus trilogy and all that kind of stuff kind of going on there in the mythology. Thebes is, partly I think I like this one too, because Thebes is my favorite Greek polis from the ancient world, and it definitely does not get the attention it deserves. Thebes, you know, gets a bad rep for Medizing during the Persian Wars, but, you know, they kind of make up for, I think, a couple generations later when they kind of crushed Sparta under heel and everything. So, anyways, I just really enjoy this cover, like the color combo and everything. Plus, it's on Thebes, so that's kind of why I went with it for sure. Next up, we got a bunch of nature titles. So here's kind of a more, I don't know what you want to call it. It's not like a technical book per se. This one, I gotta see if I can show it without getting all the light reflected off of it. And it's The Lives of Octopuses and Their Relatives by Dana Staff, who she's written actually quite a few. I think she did The Rise and Reign of the Cephalopods. She wrote another like kind of popular science books on the cephalopods and everything. But I have not started this one, but there's a whole series of these ones. I think there's about 10 of them out. I have finished The Lives of Beetles in this style, which is very good. Plus the books are full of tons of illustrations and photographs and drawings and diagrams and everything. You just learn tons about whatever kind of group of animals that you're dealing with. But I just love the cover on this one. Like, it's just super, I don't know, just tropical and bright and crisp feeling. I don't know if that even makes a lot of sense, but I just really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to starting this one probably next month. So next up, we got 2 nature titles here. This one, I just really enjoy the cover. A Naturalist Goes Fishing by James McClintock. I'm reading his Lost Antarctica right now as the tail end of springeth on. But casting in fragile waters from the Gulf of Mexico to New Zealand and New Zealand's South Island. And he is a Antarctic scientist, a polar scientist, and he is an avid fisherman as well. So he's kind of going around the world doing fishing trips. So you kind of got the fishing stuff, but a lot of the book is actually about like the biology and life cycle of the different fish he's encountering and everything, as well as the ecology of the environment and setting that he finds himself in. But this cover of this like rainbow trout leaping, just find it really good. It's by a pretty famous illustrator, if I remember off the top of my head. Yeah, James Houtman, and I think he's like, I think there's like 2 or 3 brothers of the Houtman brothers that do like these fancy, like kind of outdoor wildlife paintings and everything, but I just really enjoy that one a lot. Next up is a book that I've started that I recently picked up, I think it was last month. We got Around the World in 80 Birds by Mike Unwin. Just really love this cover. If that's not like a cover that cheers you up, I'm not 100% sure any nature title will. When I was in the bookstore, I found Around the World in 80 Trees and this one, and I like literally it was just kind of a toss-up, and I ended up going with this one just because I thought the cover was slightly better. It's not going to be super in-depth in each of the birds per se, but each 2-page spread has, you know, a little bit of information about the bird, different things about him, as well as some illustrations and things like that. I just find it really, really enjoyable. Like I said, I've started it, but I haven't finished it quite yet, but I'm learning a little bit and enjoying myself as I do so. And then we got one more before the ultimate winner here. This one I've found, The Heirloom Gardener, Traditional Plants and Skills for the Modern World by John Forty, after I heard him on Margaret Roach's Away to Garden podcast. And this cover is just awesome. Like, it's embossed a little bit, so you got kind of like a tactile feel, but they're that like kind of nice woodcut style, and there are some illustrations throughout the book that are also kind of like in that style and everything. But it's an encyclopedia on just a couple of things he's like interested in. Like, just if we got jack-o'-lanterns, indigenous plants, herbalism, and see here's like a really nice like woodcut there. You know, heirlooms or heirloom varieties. I just found it really enjoyable, just a nice relaxing read. Not super in-depth on any one thing, but kind of get your mind flowing on a whole bunch of stuff. And then lastly, for a Folio Society book, like I said, I had to kind of limit it, otherwise like the whole list would probably be like Folio Society style books and everything. We got The Book of Science. Just look at that spine first, just really lovely, and the slipcase has a nice little scientific instrument there. But this one, I just love that it's green. I feel like even though I have a lot of nature books, not a lot of books I have are actually green. It's edited by Alice Roberts, who's pretty famous for some of her BBC programs, as well as I think she's got a trilogy of books that just finished. It's Crypt, Ancestors, and Buried. But I just love the like kind of the black, green, and silver like design of the book. Just really awesome. I've read some of the stuff through it. What it is, it's a collection of different like primary sources throughout time, dealing with, you know, all different aspects of science. You know, you start off with like some Aristotle and Pliny, then you got like Leonardo, Robert Hooke, Maria Marion, let's see, Caroline Herschel, Richard Owens, Rachel Carson, you know, all kinds of really cool people, lots of famous scientists throughout kind of the centuries and everything, kind of all just kind of collected in one volume. Like I said, I'm not super interested in a whole bunch of everything per se, like some of like the hydraulics and thermodynamic kind of stuff, but there's tons of nature represented throughout here, and I just been finding it super enjoyable. So there you have it. Those are my favorite designs out of books that I actually own. There are tons of really, you know, awesomely designed books as well that I don't own, that I've either read like the ebook or checked out from the library or listened to the audiobook and everything like that. But the ones I own, I think these are like up there definitely for sure. Let me know what some of your favorite cover designs are. Leave a comment down below about that, and I'll definitely like kind of look into it and just see like how cool it is. And also leave a comment guessing what you think my new series might be coming up. But always remember, whether your cover design sucks or not, read victoriously.